can't just leave.
Protecting the church is more important than family.
Where to start? Let's see. As some of you may know, who've read my blog, ragingbuddha.net, I wrote a post earlier this year about Alex Gibney's film Going Clear and about how it affected me and reminded me of how I escaped the RPF and why Going Clear was so important. Now, that portion of my history in Scientology is about this much of, in terms of time, and also in terms of totality of effect of Scientology on me. It is very dramatic if you've read it. It reveals the gigantic secret of how I left the RPF. But I want to talk a little bit about how I got to the RPF, which of course is because I kissed a girl, and yes, I liked it. And why does being gay in Scientology end up being so bad for people who are gay? And I want to just talk about that a little bit. Now, the first thing is that when you're a child in Scientology, the first thing that you find out about Scientology is that L. Ron Hubbard is a great man and that he discovered everything. And by everything, I literally mean everything. Any question that you could possibly have about the universe, anything, pick one. Just pick one in your mind. Yep, he knows the answer. So you don't have to go look at anything because he already did that. He did that, been there, done that, wrote it down, okay? And only he was smart enough to see everything that was going on and figure it all out and write it all down in a way that you could understand. So that's the number one thing. So, of course, from very early age, you learn not to question anything that he says. So one of the first things you also learn as a kid is the tone scale. Okay, this is very important in Scientology because as a child, you are not supposed to be down tone, which means, below enthusiasm. Okay, so if you're less than enthusiastic about cleaning your room, doing your homework, taking a shower, whatever the child responsibilities that you have are, if you are less than 4.0 on the tone scale, enthusiasm, you are down tone. Okay, crying is down tone, talking back is down tone, getting angry is down tone. Basically, being a human is down tone. And the worst down tone that you can be is 1-1. You'll hear Scientologists say that a lot. Oh, she's so 1-1. Basically, that's the N word in Scientology. 1.1 on the tone scale is covert hostility. And I'm bringing this up specifically because L. Ron Hubbard states in no uncertain terms in many places throughout Scientology that all homosexuals are always, 100% of the time, existing at 1.1. They are never happy about anything. They are never actually crying about anything. They don't experience any other emotional band other than covert hostility. In the little picture they have all these sort of blobs that are different colors with different faces on. And the covert hostility one is like that. Like a pageant girl who's going to take someone out with her, stiletto behind her back. So that's how L. Ron Hubbard feels about gay people, that they are somehow always trying to lure you in with their fabulousness, and then they're just waiting to stab you in the face with a bedazzled dagger that they're hiding, okay? I don't know what he's thinking. He's crazy. Anyway, so this gets drilled into you at a very early age, that anything that is out of the sexual norm in Scientology is 1-1. And let me just break down the sexual norm. Up here at the top, you've got heterosexual sex, okay? And by that I mean either specifically a married couple or two committed people in a relationship, because there's nothing saying in Scientology you have to be married before sex unless you're in the Sea Org. So by heterosexual sex, though, I do mean just strictly the missionary position, okay? Any other position, that's a no-no, okay? So just take that into account. Any Scientologists secretly watching this video, if you like, doggy style or reverse cowboy or, I can't think of, what do I know? I don't know all these things. But if you like anything that isn't missionary, you are committing Scientological sin. Okay. So a step below missionary sex and all the positions that I just, said, that would be like a foggy area between missionary and this next thing, would be oral sex. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, Scientology dudes out there. If your lady is going down or you are going downtown on your lady, that is a no-no. And this was brought to light to me and my fellow Sea Org members when we were called into a meeting by the chief officer. Even those of us who were not married at the time, like myself, were brought into this meeting and told in no uncertain terms that if we were engaging in or had ever engaged in oral sex, that we were no longer qualified to move up the lines to the international management and Golden Era Productions, and we would never work with David Miscavige or RTC because that is forbidden at the int base. I wish I had had a video camera that day to video all of my male counterparts. They just lost the blood in their face. Like, they said, now, is this if I do it or if the chief off just gave them this? Oh, man. You know that was just, I think they didn't even care at that point. They were like, well, I guess I'm never going to int. So, anyway, oral sex. Then, of course, the next thing below that is a major no-no would be anal sex. Now, two people are consenting. And now, again, this is a married straight man, anal sex with his wife, okay? That's a no. All right. Then, just below that, you have pedophilia, okay? And this pedophilia gets like an asterisk next to it because it is actually approved of in the Church of Scientology. Case in point, the security chief, Celebrity Center International, where I worked, James Richardson, was 27 or 28, and he married a 15-year-old. Now, how did he do this, you ask? Well, it is legal for a minor to get married as long as they have the consent of their parents. Now, this girl, her mother did not want this to happen. And the security chief worked on her for 3 months straight, digging into this woman for 3 months, okay? And he couldn't legally marry her until she had gotten her mom to sign. Now, you couldn't do it in California, so they went to Nevada, where that sort of thing is still legal. And he did marry her. They are now divorced. That's a whole other story. But this happens a lot in the Sea organization. It's a bonus for the Sea Org because, of course, when they have minors working, they have to put them in school. That's terrible, my God, in education. So to work around this, they encourage minors to either marry each other, which happens a lot. You get a lot of like 15, 16-year-olds, sometimes 14-year-olds, marrying each other. And that's because when you're in the Sea Org, you're not allowed to do anything before marriage. You can hold hands and you can French kiss. That's it. You can't even hug for too long or you're going to get in big trouble, okay? No humping, no touching, no second base, no third base, nothing before marriage. So you get a lot of horny teenagers getting married, or you get a lot of horny pedophiles marrying teenagers. But the super bonus, like I was saying, for the Sea Org is that once a minor in California is married, they are legally an adult. Isn't that wonderful? So for the church's standpoint, it's great because then as soon as that minor is married, they don't have to get a GED. They don't have to get a work permit, and they can work their full volunteer hours, which, as we all know, is usually between 10 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no violations of the child labor laws, because now this 13 to 17-year-old person is an adult legally. Okay, So pedophilia, A-okay. You can still go fully up the line in Scientology. You can work at the highest levels of Scientology. You can do anything. Okay? Pedophile. Below pedophile is masturbation. Yes. When I think about you, I touch myself. It's a no, no, no. So, I didn't personally ever get busted for that one. In fact, to make a confession here in the YouTubes, I was terrified of it. I was terrified of my own privates because I really thought that it was going to, in Scientology, they believe that when you do sexually wrong things, such as masturbation, you are activating that portion of your mind which makes you go crazy, and you will pull mental masses in on yourself and make yourself crazy. Okay? It's not going to make you go blind, like, I guess people said in the 50s. It will make you an insane person. Okay, so masturbation, super bad problem. I knew a lot of guys got busted for that. I mean, come on, it's all right. And below that, okay, the worst thing you can do is be gay. That is the bottom. You can murder someone, and it's still not as bad as being gay. Okay? Just think about that. Murder is higher than that. Murder here, homosexuality here.